So we'll be talking about local ordinances. Ulitin lang natin. Sabi ni Reinhold Niebuhr, God grant me the serenity to accept things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Everything is subject to change. Sabi nga natin, walang forever. So there's nothing more constant than change. At ganun din yung mga local ordinances. Okay? Now, according to Edmund Burke, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. So, dapat ganyan ang tinatandaan ng mga mabubuting tao daw, no? They have to correct people who are doing bad things. At pwede rin naman kayo sumali dito. But I could promise you, wala tayong love offering na kukolektahin ngayon at saka wala tayong pastoral na minimaintain, ha? Okay. So, of course, you know where to go at shout out dun sa ating mga subscribers sa YouTube. Nasa 58,700 plus na raw sila. And you can also refer to this for other reading materials. Pwede nyo puntahan yung mga books na yan. Okay? And everything that we do is based on the Constitution. The Constitution is a written instrument in which the fundamental powers of the different branches of the government are established, distributed for their use, and definitely for the benefit of the people. Right? That's why you can see in our Constitution, the division, the branches of the government. You have Article 6, Legislative, Article 7, Executive, Article 8, Judicial, Article 9, Constitutional Commission. The powers are distributed. And they have to use that for the benefit of the people. That's the importance of the Constitution. That is the cornerstone. That is the foundation of every law. And that is the basis of the Supreme Court in declaring a law, whether it is constitutional or not. Okay? So para ka magtatayo ng bahay, kailangan mo ng pundasyon. At sabi nila, ang tatay daw ang haligi ng tahanan. Bakit? Kasi nga, palagi ko sinasabi, siya ang father. So siya ang haligi ng tahanan. Okay? Yung nanay naman daw ang ilaw. Kaya pala sabi ng mga nanay, napupundi na sila. Ayan. So, according to a dean of law schools, din siya dati ng Nebraska College of Law, at saka later on, Harvard Law School, si Roscoe Pound, the law must be stable, but it must not stand still. Okay? So, there should be stability. Hindi po bago-bago. Kaya lang everything changes. So, what is law? Probably you know Felipe Sanchez Roman. Law is defined as a rule of conduct. Just and obligatory ay hindi po pwedeng suggestion. Hindi katulad sa Pilipinas, di ba? That laws are mere suggestions. May option ka kung susunod ka o hindi. Pero law must be obligatory. It should be laid down by legitimate authority. In our case, it is Congress. That's the lawmaking body. However, as what we will learn later on, Congress may be allowed to delegate such power to the other agencies, bibigyan nila ng rule-making power. And what is the purpose of this? For common observance and benefit. Nag sumusunod ka sa batas, dapat nakikinabang ka. Kaya sa atin, parang yung mga lumalabag sa batas, sila ang nakakalamang. Di ba? That's why people do not want to follow law or rules anymore kasi yung mga madadaya ang nagtatagumpay. Parang sa traffic, yung mga mahilig maningit, sila yung nauuna. Tapos pagka hindi ka nagpasingit, galit pa sa'yo. Okay? Now, take note that lawmaking power is vested in Congress, which is composed of the Senate and the House of Representatives. Okay? Pero ngayon, maraming puntos ang House of Representatives because of the investigations in aid of re-election. In aid of legislation. Okay, malapit na naman kasi. But this rule-making power, the law-making power of Congress, is delegated to them by the people. Why? Article 2, Section 1, anong sabi? The Philippines, democratic and republican state. Sovereignty resides in the people and all government authority emanates from them. So sa atin ang gagaling yun. That's why we delegated our power because we cannot exercise that power to legislate. Why? The Constitution itself says that it is a democratic and republican. What is the essence of republicanism? We do not participate directly as the sovereign people, but we delegate to to our representatives in government the power that should be logically ours. Diba? It's the power that we delegate to them. That is why, kung delegated na sa kanila, hindi na nila pwedeng i-delegate pa. That's the Latin expression, potestas delegata, non delegare potest. Dinelegate na sa inyo yung paggawa ng batas, huwag nyo nang i-delegate pa kanino man. Diba? That doctrine is based on the ethical principle. Para sa opisina nyo, ikaw yung boss, may iniutos ka, yung inutusan mo, merong mas mababa sa kanya, i-delegate niya doon. May mas mababa pa sa kanya, o siya eventually ang gagawa. Diba? So, bawal na yun. Dinelegate na sa iyo huwag mo na i-delegate. Now, the rule on non-delegation of legislative power flows from the ethical principle. Di ba? Paulit-ulit lang. Ethical principle yun na iniutos na sa iyo, huwag mo nang iutos sa iba. Tama? Para sa bahay, kaya kawawa yung bunso. Alam ko yung bunso ako Diba? Inutusan ng nanay, yung panganay, hanggang sa makarating sa bunso, yung bunso ang gagawa niyan Bakit? Siya yung pinakabata Diba? So, any undue delegation of legislative power is contrary to the principle of separation of power. However, may mga exception ito. Ano mga exception dun sa non-delegation? Dinelegate mo sa Kongreso, ang Kongreso, hindi na pwedeng i-delegate. But because there are exceptions, pwede pala. Why? Through delegation, Congress may devote more time to address other pressing matters. Diba? Hindi na dapat Kongreso pa ang gagawa ng mga investigasyon. Pati ba naman yung mga rape cases, iimbestigahan pa ng Senado? Wala ba kayong tiwala sa mga agencies na kayo mismo ang gumawa? Katulad ng NBI, katulad ng police. They should have delegated the power to investigate. Diba? Now, the growing complexity of modern life, the multiplication of the subjects of governmental regulation, and the increased difficulty of administering the law. Alangan naman Kongreso ang gumawa ng batas, sila din na mag-administer. Natural, hindi. It is the duty of the executive. Kaya lang, may mga pagkakataon na kailangang i-fill up yung batas. No? The reason for that is administrative bodies may implement broad policies laid down in the law or statute. So, mahirap naman kung Senado pa ang mag-implement yan. That's why meron tayong types of delegation. You have contingent legislation and subordinate legislation. Ano yung contingent legislation? Contingent legislation, Congress undertakes contingent legislation which delegates to another body the power to certain facts necessary to bring the law into actual operation. In other words, may ginawang batas, alam naman Kongreso magpatupad, so gagawa ka ng isang administrative body to implement that. Kaya nga, yung mga franchises, di ba? Like for example, for common carrier, sabi ng mga nagraraling mga jeepney drivers, karapatan po namin yung prangkisa Kailan pa nangyari yun? Ang franchise ay privilege. So, Kongreso ang nag-grant nito. Kaya lang, pagdating sa common carriers na pang land transportation, Congress created the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board. Hindi napupunta sa Kongreso yung manghihingi ng franchise doon na sa LTFRB. But of course, may kapangyarihan ng Kongreso over that agency. Diba? Kaya lang, hindi na Kongreso ang gagawa. So, contingent legislation. And you have subordinate legislation. Walang kinalaman yung mga picture, kasi daw, inappoint siya as son of God. Okay? Appointed son of God. Pwede rin naman siguro magpa-appoint tayo na grandson. Okay? So, Congress, meanwhile, enact subordinate legislation dahil necessary ito amid the proliferation of specialized activities. Bakit? Kasi, for example, yung technology, diba, ang daming mga hackers ngayon. O, alam nga, Kongreso pa ang gagawa niyan. So, Congress created the Department of Information and Communication Technology. Pero tingin ko parang sila yung nahack din eh. Di ba? Ironic. Ikaw yung nagbabantay ng ating information telecommunication technology. Pagkatapos nahack ka pa, aba, delikado naman yan. Ha? Okay. Ngayon, so when Congress delegates its power, kailangang i-test natin. Valid ba yung pag-delegate niya? So ngayon, dalawa yan. Una, yung completeness test. Pangalawa, the presence of sufficient standards. Ano yung completeness test? Well, to determine completeness, all the terms and provisions of the law are there. And it must leave nothing to the delegate except to implement it. So when we talk about completeness test, all the terms and provisions of the law must be there. That it leaves nothing to the delegate except to implement. So kompleto na, di ba? Bagay, pag umalis sa Kongreso, dapat sapat na. Eh minsan kulang eh. Sabagay, di ka naman magiging sapat sa isang taong iba ang hinahanap, di ba? Kaya pala ko sinasabi. Now, bukod sa completeness test, there must be sufficient standard. The sufficient standards test means that there should be adequate guidelines. Like for example, when Congress created Republic Act 7722, which established the Commission on Higher Education, it provided sufficient standards on what the CHED should regulate. And according to the law, academic post-secondary educational institutions, meaning colleges, universities. That's why when CHED wanted to regulate private review centers in the country, it was nullified by the Supreme Court for being beyond the powers of the Commission under the law. Kasi nakalagay sa batas kung ano lang yung pwede mong gawin eh. Yan yung sufficient standards. Hanggang saan ka lang. Di ba? Kumbaga, naliligaw ka pa lang, binagbabawalan mo na ako. Hindi pa nga kita jowa. Di ba? So, alam mo kung hanggang saan ka lang. Okay? Now, all of these tests are needed. Okay? Pag wala yung isa, invalid yung delegation ng Kongreso. Now, take note that Congress was allowed or required by the Constitution under Article 10, Section 3 to create a local government code. At pag local government code ang pinag-usapan, we can always associate this law with the man on your screen. Former Senate President Aquilino Pimentel Jr. Yan yung pinakabatang senador, Nene Pimentel. Okay? At siya ang tatay ni Coco. Si Senator Nene. At dahil dyan, ang konstitusyon ay inutusan din na mag-create kayo ng mga local government units. Okay, that's under Section 10 of Article 10. Now, in Section 6 of the Local Government Code, a local government unit may be created, divided, merged, abolished, or its boundary substantially altered either by law enacted by Congress in case of province, city, municipality, or other political subdivision, or by ordinance passed by the Sangguniang Panlalawigan or Sangguniang Panlunsod. That is in the case of barangays. That's why when Congress enacted a law dividing Palawan into 3, that needed the approval of the people kasi hindi po pwede naman nawala itong referendum. Now, the people rejected kasi pangit na hatiin yung Palawan sa tatlo, di ba? Magiging Palawan, Pala 2, Pala 3. So, mali yun. Dapat Palawan lang. That's why nanalo yung no at hindi nahati ang Palawan. Now, in the case of SEMA versus COMELEC, that was the case when the ARMM, Legislative Assembly, created the province of Sharif Kabunsuan. Okay? Of course, the creation was challenged before the Supreme Court kasi pagka nagkaroon ka ng probinsya, the necessary consequence, magkakaroon ka ng congressional seat. Okay? And remember, ang nag-create ng province is a local, regional, legislative body. And then you'll be creating a national office in Congress. So according to the Supreme Court, hindi pwede yan. Only Congress can create provinces and cities. Because the creation of provinces and cities necessarily includes the creation of legislative districts. A power only Congress can exercise under Section 5, Article 6 of the Constitution, and Section 3 of the Ordinance appended to the Constitution. Kaya yung creation ng Sharif Kabunsuan as a province is unconstitutional. That was carved from this map that you have seen from Maguindanao, Cotabato, and Lanao del Sur. From these barangays or mga munisipyo. Pero sabi ng Korte Suprema, hindi po pwede yan because the spring cannot go beyond its source. Ano ba nag-create sa Muslim Mindanao Assembly? It's Congress. And then magkikreate ka ng opisina sa Kongreso? Well, hindi po pwede yan. Okay? Now, municipal governments are agents of the national government. Therefore, the local councils, ito yung mga sanggunian, exercise only delegated legislative powers conferred by Congress. Unlike in Congress, inherent yun, although delegated by the people. Yet the power to legislate is inherent in Congress under the Constitution. And this power is delegated to the local government units. Therefore, the delegates are not superior to the principal. Okay? The delegate cannot be superior to the principal or exercise power higher than those of the principal. Kasi delegate ka lang eh. It is a heresy. Wala kinalaman yung picture dun sa heresy to suggest that the local government units can undo the acts of Congress from which they have derived their power in the first place. So pagka may batas, ang mga municipal or city council or provincial council or sanggunian, ang tawag natin, cannot undo the law. They cannot pass an ordinance that will be counter or contrary to the law. Why? Lawmaking power is police power. And that power is vested in Congress. Police power is the plenary power vested in the legislature to make statutes and ordinances to promote the health, morals, peace, education, good order, or safety and general welfare of the people. Anong pinanggagalingan nito? It is the principle that salus populi est suprema lex. The welfare of the people is the supreme law. Kaya lahat ng gagawin ng ating mga manggagatas, mambabatas, ay dapat ayon sa kabutihan at para sa kabutihan na nakararami. While police power rests primarily with the national legislature, it may be delegated. So kaya nga sinabi na natin kanina, the power to legislate of the local legislative body is a delegated one. According to the Constitution, Congress will create a local government code, and the local government code provided under Section 16 or the General Welfare Clause, the delegated police power of the local government units. Okay? Now, the local government units exercise police power through the respective legislative bodies. Okay? Yung delegated power sa kanila must be exercised through the legislative body. Like police power, eminent domain, and the power of taxation. So police power, just like the two other powers, are exercised by the LGU through the respective legislative bodies, the sanggunian. Now, under the General Welfare Clause of the Local Government Code, walang kinalaman yung picture, every local government unit shall exercise the powers expressly granted, those necessarily implied therefrom, as well as the powers necessary, appropriate, or incidental for its efficient and effective governance, and those which are essential to the promotion, again, of the general welfare. Now, within the respective territorial jurisdictions, local government units shall, anong trabaho ng mga local government units? Number one, ensure and support, among other things, the preservation, enrichment of culture, promote health and safety. Diba? Kaya yung bawat local government unit, dapat pangalagaan nyo ang kultura ninyo, yung iyong identity. Diba? Kaya nga ang Bacolod, merong Mascara Festival. Ang, ano ba yung tawag dito? Ang sa Naga naman, yung Piña Francia. Doon sa Angono Rizal, yung, ano ba tawag doon? Gigantes Festival. Sa San Juan, wala, basaan lang yan. Meron tawag, yung Wata-Wata. Diba? Pero nagkakaaway, di ba? Pambihira. Okay? Enhance the right of the people to a balanced ecology. Naku po, takot-takot ang mga local government units, pinutol ng mga puno. Huwag na kayong magtaka, bakit binabaha tayo madalas? Then, improve public morals. Kaya nga may mga local government units na bawal itong mga nightclub, itong mga, ano ba tawag nila dyan, massage clinic, bawal doon sa mga lugar nila. Or there's a specific area kung saan lang yan ilalagay. Di ba? Pag nagpunta ba talaga dyan, immoral na. Ay di kung wala nang pupunta dyan, paano naman yung kabuhayan ng mga taong dyan umaasa? Di ba? And then, enhance economic prosperity and social justice. Dapat lahat ng bayan sa Pilipinas maunlad na kasi 1991 pa yung local government code. Promote full employment among the residents. Kung totoo yan, di sana hindi masyado matraffic sa mga city centers. Kasi yung mga local government units, may kanya-kanyang trabaho ang mga mamamayan. Kaso hindi, pinapaasa lang dun sa dole out. Diba? Niaasa na lang dun sa 4-piece. Siguro naman, turuan nyo paano kumita. Huwag yung puro asa na lang sa mga bigay. Maintain peace and order. Mo-order ng isda? Hindi po, iba po yun. Fish order yun. Fish and order. Ito, peace and order. Kapayapaan at katiwasayan. Okay? And preserve the comfort and convenience of their inhabitants. Kung wala kang tubig, walang kuryente, tapos wala kang kalsadang maayos, kasi meron daw budget pero ang ginawa, farm to pocket road. Hindi pala, farm to market, hindi farm to pocket. Diba? Kaya para daw mabigyan ng maraming trabaho, nagtayo ng mga pogo sa farm. Tama ba yun? Baka nag-alaga ng pogo. Okay? So yan ang mga trabaho dapat, among others, ng mga local government units. Now, in one case, sabi ng Korte Suprema, in furtherance of the state's policy to foster genuine and meaningful local autonomy. Yung autonomy po hindi pagkuha ng maraming kotse, Kasi akala nila autonomy, dadami ang kotse. Hindi po. The National Legislature delegated the exercise of police power to the local government unit as agents of the state. Such delegation can be found in Section 16 na binanggit na nga natin. The General Welfare Clause. So, the City Council, the Municipal Council, the Provincial Council, or what we call sanggunian, will enact local ordinances. And remember, no matter how laudable, gaano man ka-honorable ang kanyang objectives, they are not allowed to contravene state-enacted legislation. A local ordinance is subordinated to the law in the same manner that the law is subordinated to the Constitution. Kaya inuna natin yung Constitution kanina, sinunod natin yung batas, ngayon, yung local ordinance. Why? Local government units derive merely their power from the state legislature. Kung walang batas, wala sila. As such, they cannot regulate activities already allowed by the statute. Ano yun, yung pagtatayo ng mga ganitong factory, kung pinayagan ng national government, hindi nyo pwedeng paalisin yan. Okay? Since LGUs exercise delegated police power as agents of the state, it is incumbent upon them to act in conformity with their principal. Sino ba ang principal nila? Ay, yung state. So yung state gumawa ng batas, huwag mong lalabagin yan. Di ba? Necessarily, therefore, ordinances enacted by the local sanggunian pursuant to the General Welfare Clause may not subvert the state's will by contradicting national statutes. At nakikita niyo example, palakihin natin. One barangay in Abra, ganito yung ordinansa. Pagka nagtapon, hindi ko masyado naintindihan, Ilocano ba ito? O sige, Ilocano yata. Pag nagtapon kayo ng basura dito, ito yung multa. First offense, 1,000. Second offense, 1,000 plus 8 hours community service. Third offense, bibigyan ka ng baril? Siguro hindi naman ganun ang interpretation yan, di ba? Babariling ka. Hindi naman sinabing death penalty. Pero baka naman hindi ka mamatay. O malay mo na may anting-anting yan. Kasi may alam akong party list, ang tawag agimat. Di ba? Agimat party list. O baka pwede natin ipantapat dito. May isa pong party list, ang pangalan Pinuno. Oh, Diyos ko naman. It will be contravening a law. Now, assuming lang, no? Let's give it a benefit of the doubt. Assuming, ito ay death penalty. Di ba? Abay, that's contrary to the Constitution. Why? Article 3, Section 19, neither shall death penalty be imposed unless for compelling reasons involving heinous crimes Congress thereafter provides for it. Congress has already abolished Republic Act 7649, the law that reimposed penalty of death upon certain heinous crimes. Tapos ito, nagtapon lang ng basura, third offense, may baril na. O baka naman bibigyan lang ng baril. Di ba? But you cannot have any other interpretation for that. That's why itong mga barangay officials na ito ay sinuspindi. Dinisiplina, pupuntahan natin mamaya yan. How do we discipline these officials? Okay? So kaya, nakakuha naman ng TRO. And sa yata sa mga dati kong estudyante involved dito, abogado siya ng isang sa mga parties na ito. Okay? So I cannot divulge to you the other details. Now, what's the difference between an ordinance and a resolution? Kasi naririnig natin palagi yan eh. Di ba? An ordinance is a law in the local level. But a resolution is merely a declaration of the sentiment or opinion of a lawmaking body on a specific matter. So magkaiba, di ba? So sino mas makapangyarihan? Ito yung ordinansa. An ordinance possesses a general and permanent character, but a resolution is temporary in nature. Kaya nga may resolution na bigyan ng parangal itong si Chloe. Ay, si Carlos pala. Kaya sa Maynila, may resolution designating July 4 ba? July 5, I'm not sure. Bilang Carlos Yulo Day. So resolution lang yon. So baka magkalimutan na naman yan. Now, additionally, the two are enacted differently. Nga kinalaman yung picture, ha? A third reading is necessary for an ordinance. Ilang beses kayo binasa ito? Parang 16 pages lang daw. So mabilis yung basahin yan. Hindi lang third reading. But for a resolution, unless decided otherwise by a majority of all the members of the sanggunian, hindi na kailangan ng third reading. Resolution lang eh. Unless the majority of the members of the sanggunian decided na mag-third reading kayo for a resolution. Okay? So paano natin malalaman if the ordinance issued by the local sanggunian is a valid one? Number one, Ang sabi diyan sa kasong ito sa Cebu City that number one, it must not contravene the Constitution. Natural. Subordinated ka nga sa batas eh. So all the more that you cannot countermand, you cannot be in conflict with the Constitution or any law. It must not be unfair or oppressive. Natural. Diba? Hindi po pwede na unfair. Hindi po pwede na may inaapi ka. Must not be partial or discriminatory. Kaya nga fair, di ba? So dapat hindi discriminatory. Must not prohibit but may regulate trade. Kaya yung ginawa nitong City Council ng Maynila na ni-revoke yung mga permits ng mga legal na mga nightclub, disco, etc., sabi ng Korte Suprema, invalid exercise of police power. Kasi valid yung permit, bakit mo i-revoke? Kasi daw may ordinansa na pinagbabawal na sila. That is prohibition. Police power is regulation. Must be general and consistent with public policy. Natural, even a law must be in accordance with public policy. At it must be reasonable. Di ba? That was taken from an old case of Tapel versus Municipality of Birac. Okay? But this is the latest version. Now, in another case, ito, nauna pa ito, no, 1994, the rationale for the requirement that ordinances should not contravene a statute is obvious. Municipal governments are only agents of the national government. Therefore, local councils, referring to the sanggunian, exercise only delegated legislative powers conferred by them by Congress. Therefore, they cannot contravene the policies of Congress expressed in a law. Okay? The delegate cannot be superior to the principal, as what we have already seen earlier. It is a heresy to suggest that the local government units can undo the acts of Congress. Susunod ka lang sa Kongreso. Kaya kung may batas, tulad ng bawal ang smoking sa mga public buildings, gagawa ka ng ordinansa na pinagbabawal din ito, hindi po pwedeng i-countermand mo yan or mas mataas pa ang fine mo kaysa dun sa binibigay ng batas, dun sa Clean Air Act, for example. Okay? Now, Metro Manila is a different breed. This is the only region with no provinces. Only cities and municipality, which is Pateros. That's the only municipality in Metro Manila. Okay? But it is an entire region, the National Capital Region, where everybody, every Filipino wants to go to. Kaya napakasikip ng Metro Manila. How do we regulate the traffic in Metro Manila? Congress created Republic Act 7924 way back 1995. But the problem with this law, it did not give or grant MMDA the police power. So MMDA cannot legislate. Saan kinukuha ng MMDA yung mga rules and regulation? Like yung busway sa EDSA na gustong daanan ng lahat kasi express nga naman, walang traffic doon. From the sanggunian of the different local government units comprising Metro Manila. Kailangan magkasundo sila. Kaya nga, it took some time para magkaroon ng single ticketing system sa traffic violation. Kasi kanya-kanyang mga cities and municipality ay may kanya-kanyang traffic code. So they have to harmonize. Diba? And the mayor cannot do that. It should be the local sanggunian. Okay? However, lahat ng mga ordinansa, katulad din ng isang batas na may presumption of constitutionality, every ordinance is presumed valid unless the court declares that it is invalid. Okay? Contrary in clear and unequivocal terms. The mere fact that the ordinance is alleged to be unconstitutional, sabi niya, unconstitutional yung batas na yan, kailangan sumunod ka pa rin. Okay? Hindi porke sinabing unconstitutional, hindi ka nasusunod. susunod ka pa rin unless it is declared unconstitutional or invalid by the court. That's what we call presumption of validity of the ordinances. Oops, nakinalaman yung picture, pero yan daw yung bagong Mandanas Doctrine. Municipal ordinances are inferior in status and subordinate to the laws of the state because local government units have no power to regulate the conduct already regulated by the state legislature. Katulad ng pagtatayo ng kasino sa isang lugar, hindi po pwedeng i-oppose siya ng mere ordinance lamang eh. Kasi nilisensyahan na ng gobyerno ang PAGCOR na magbigay ng lisensya sa mga kasino. Oh, kaya lang, ang PAGCOR nagbigay ng lisensya sa mga POGO under the charter of PAGCOR. General, di ba? Ngayon, napakaraming violation yung mga POGO na ito. So, yan ang tanong, pwede ba na ang presidente ang magpa-abolish niyan? Hindi naman batas kasi yung nagsabi na legal ang mga POGO eh. The law created PAGCOR and PAGCOR is authorized to issue licenses. Okay? So pag in-issue ng lisensya ng PAGCOR, hindi pwedeng tanggihan ng local government unit unless may violation talaga. Kasi may presumption of validity. Now, how is an ordinance approved? Of course, ang presiding officer ng council ay yung vice mayor or vice governor. Every ordinance must be presented to the local chief executive, either the mayor or the governor. If approved, lagay niya kanyang signature on every page. Then after publication, it shall become effective. Now, if the chief executive, local chief executive, does not want it, he exercises his veto power. Veto from the is a Latin word meaning I forbid, I deny. So, kung binito ito ng local chief executive, it will be returned to the sanggunian. The sanggunian can do two things. Diba? Parang sa ano rin ito, parang sa bills submitted to the president. Pag pinirma ng presidente, ayos. Pag binito niya, ibalik sa Kongreso. Kaya sa Kongreso, House of Origin. Dito, isa lang naman ang sanggunian mo, so ibalik mo sa sanggunian. The sanggunian can do two things. Number one, reconsider. Ibig sabihin, baguhin nila para pirmahan ni mayor o ni governor as the case may be. Ngayon, kung hindi pinirmahan, at ayaw nga niya, binito niya, ayaw namang i-reconsider ng sanggunian, kailangan nyo ng 2/3 vote of all the members. Pag nakuha nyo yung 2/3 vote of all the members of the sanggunian, kung ilan man yan, you get 2/3, then na-override yung veto power ng mayor o ng governor. Okay? The veto shall be communicated by the local chief executive to the sanggunian within 15 days pag probinsya. Pag 10 days in case of city or municipality. Now, otherwise, the ordinance shall be deemed approved as if he had signed it. Just like the bill submitted to the president. Hindi niya pinirmahan, hindi niya binito. With the lapse of 30 days, the bill shall automatically become a law as if the president has signed it. So dito naman, in case of provincial sanggunian, ibalik doon ni governor within 15 days. Pag di niya binalik within 15 days, di niya rin pinirmahan, deemed approved na yan. Ganun sa city and municipality, 10 days. Okay? Now, the local chief executive may veto an ordinance of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan, Sangguniang Panlunsod, Sangguniang Bayan on the ground that it is ultra vires. Meaning beyond the scope of the authority or power granted by law to the sanggunian or prejudicial to the public welfare. But he has to state his reason in writing. Bakit niya binito ito? Ang rule din natin dyan, ibito mo yung kabuuan o i-approve mo yung kabuuan. Now, pagdating sa mga appropriations, kasi may budget ang local government unit eh. The local chief executive, mayor, governor, hindi kasama si barangay. Kasi you have to remember na yung barangay, yung punong barangay, ay part siya ng, ano ba tawag dyan, sangguniang barangay. So wala siyang veto power. So, the local chief executive shall have the power to veto any particular item. Ito naman tinatawag nating item veto. Kasi bawat local government unit may mga appropriations yan, di ba? Kaya, syempre, ang pinanggagalingan ng budget ng local government unit, yung sarili niyang nakinita. At yung under the Mandanas Doctrine, yung internal revenue allotment na galing sa national government, which will be released automatically. Na ngayon ang tawag ay national tax allocation. So, the local chief executive, except the punong barangay, shall have the power to veto any particular item or items. In an appropriation bill or sa budget, katulad din ng presidente ng Pilipinas, pag budget bill ito or General Appropriations Act, pwede yung item veto. Otherwise, ibibito niya yung kabuuan. Pero pag budget or appropriations, pinapayagan yung line veto or item veto. Okay? So parallel with the national government. In such case, the veto shall not affect the items or items which are not objected to. The vetoed item shall not take effect unless the sanggunian overrides the veto. So either baguhin nila, dagdagan nila, o bawasan nila yung budget ayon sa gusto ng local chief executive, o i-override nila. Otherwise, the item or items in the appropriations ordinance of the previous year corresponding to those vetoed, if any, shall be deemed reenacted. So pag hindi sila nagkasundo doon sa item na yun na binito ng local chief executive at ayaw din namang galawin ng sanggunian, deemed reenacted yung dati nilang budget. So walang increase yun kasi old budget ang masusunod. Well, ganyan ang mangyayari kapag nagkaroon ng stalemate doon sa budget ng Office of the Vice President. Kasi yung Vice President, ayaw niya na idepensa, di ba? Ito namang Kongreso, unless bigyan siya ng bagong budget na mas mababa, well, mas maganda pa siguro kung reenacted na lang. Di ba? But I think hindi ma-re-enact. Now, the local chief executive may veto an ordinance or resolution only once. And the sanggunian may override the veto of the local chief executive by 2/3 vote, thereby making the ordinance effective even without the approval of the local chief executive. Now, we proceed to the review of ordinances by the sangguniang panlalawigan. Okay, you have to remember na ang pwedeng i-review ng mga ordinansa ay munisipyo at component city. Yung mga highly urbanized cities na napakalaki ng income at saka yung mga independent component cities as created by law are not subject to the review of the sangguniang panlalawigan. Kaya lang sila naging component kasi geographically located sila dun sa probinsya. Pero yung mga population nila do not vote for the provincial officials. Saan natin makikita yon? We can see this in that law or the charter of the independent component city. Okay, so within 3 days after approval, the secretary to the Sangguniang Panlunsod or Sangguniang Bayan shall forward to the Sangguniang Panlalawigan for review copies of the approved ordinances. Okay? And the resolutions approving the local development plans and public investment programs formulated by the local development council. Ngayon, within 30 days from receipt of the copies, ang gagawin, itatransmit ito dun sa provincial attorney. Kung walang provincial attorney, dun sa provincial prosecutor. Daming trabaho ni Piskal, yung provincial prosecutor. Para saan? For prompt examination, re-review niya. The provincial prosecutor or provincial attorney, as the case may be, within a period of 10 days from receipt inform the Sangguniang Panlalawigan in writing of his comments or recommendations. Pwede niyan sabihin, itong ordinansang ito ay labag sa konstitusyon. In writing, at ibibigay niya sa Sangguniang Panlalawigan. At iyan ay kukonsider ng Sangguniang Panlalawigan in making a decision. Okay? Now, if the Sangguniang Panlalawigan finds that such an ordinance or resolution is beyond the power conferred upon the Sangguniang Panlungsod or Sangguniang Bayan, it shall declare that the ordinance or resolution invalid in whole or in part. Okay? Kasi nga, bawal eh. Now, the Sangguniang Panlalawigan shall enter its actions in the minutes and shall advise the corresponding city or municipality or municipal authorities of the action it has taken. Hoy, municipality ganito. Upon the recommendation of the provincial prosecutor or provincial attorney, illegal yung batas ay yung ordinansang ginawa mo. Okay? Iyan ay sa pamagitan ng isang ordinansa din o resolution. Now, if no action has been taken by the Sangguniang Panlalawigan within 30 days after the submission of such ordinance or resolution, it is presumed to be valid. Okay? So, tatandaan yung power ng provincial council over the city council at saka ng municipal council. Pero doon lang ito sa mga component cities. Okay? Yung independent component cities, highly urbanized cities, wala yan. Now, within 10 days, ito naman mga ordinansa ito, no? Review barangay ordinances by the Sangguniang Panlungsod or Sangguniang Bayan where the barangay is located. So within 10 days after the enactment, the Sangguniang Barangay shall furnish copies of all the barangay ordinances to the Sangguniang Panlungsod or Sangguniang Bayan concerned for review as to whether the ordinance is consistent with law and city or municipal ordinances. Okay? Now, if the Sangguniang Panlungsod, ito, sumikat ito nung panahon ng barangay election, tumakbong kupitan. Sa mga Tagalog, iba ang dating yan. Now, if the Sangguniang Panlungsod or Sangguniang Bayan, as the case may be, fails to take action on a barangay ordinance within 30 days from receipt, deemed approved din yan. Okay? Now, if the Sangguniang Panlungsod or Sangguniang Bayan, as the case may be, finds that the barangay ordinance inconsistent with the law or city or municipal ordinance.
Hello po.
So, marami ang kwan nito, no? Marami ang benchmark natin. You have the Constitution, you have the law, you have the city or municipal ordinance. Kasi barangay ka lang eh. The Sangguniang concerned shall within 30 days from receipt thereof return the same with its comments and recommendation to the Sangguniang Barangay. In which case, the effectivity of the barangay ordinance is suspended until such time the revision is called for is effected. So, pinagbibigyan naman ng pagkakataon para i-correct nila. Kung hindi, suspend yan. Hindi pwedeng implement yan. Now, if an ordinance is disapproved, any attempt to enforce any ordinance or resolution approving the local development plan and public investment program after the disapproval thereof shall be sufficient ground for the suspension or dismissal of the official or employee concerned. Kaya nakita niyo yung ordinansa kanina isang barangay, abay yung municipal council sinuspinde yung mga barangay officials. Okay. Unless otherwise stated in the ordinance, it shall take effect after 10 days from the date a copy is posted in a bulletin board or entrance of the provincial capital or city or municipal or barangay hall. So may posting. Okay? Para maging effective siya. Or, saan ito ipopost? At least 2 other conspicuous places. Ano yung conspicuous places? These are the places where people would normally congregate. Okay? Now, the secretary to the sanggunian concerned shall cause the posting of an ordinance or resolution in the bulletin board at the entrance of the provincial capital and city, municipal or barangay hall, and at least 2 conspicuous places in the local government unit. Kailan yan? Not later than 5 days after approval. Okay? Now, the text of the ordinance or resolution shall be disseminated and posted in Filipino or English or in the language understood by the majority of the people. Diba? So, kung nasa Bacolod, ay di, ano nga, Bacolod nun or Ilonggo. Diba? Pagka nandun kayo Cebu, ay di Cebuano. Okay? Bakit ba lalambing nyo kasi magsalita? Galit na patsyong taka. Okay. And the secretary to the sanggunian shall record such fact in a book kept for the purpose, stating the dates of approval and posting. Now, the gist of the ordinances with penal sanction. Ito yung may mga multa. Wala naman yatang multa ito, no? Shall be published in a newspaper of general circulation within the province where the local legislative body concerned belongs. In the absence of any newspaper of general circulation, a posting ang kailangan natin dito shall be made in all municipalities and cities of the province where the sanggunian of origin is situated. Okay? Now, letter D. In case of highly urbanized, sinasabi ko kanina, and independent component cities, the main features of the ordinance or resolution duly enacted or adopted shall, in addition to being posted, be published in a local newspaper within the city, or in a newspaper of general circulation kung wala silang local newspaper. Okay? So, siyempre gagawa ng mga ordinansa, magpapatawag ng mga public hearing. Meron bang public contempt power ang mga local sanggunian? Well, tandaan muna natin that the power to punish for contempt is indispensable to the administration of justice. It is an inherent power of courts. Korte lang daw ang merong contempt power to the execution of their powers and to the maintenance of their authority. What is the purpose of the contempt power? According to the court, twofold. Number 1, to protect the dignity and administration of justice through punishment of those who disrespect or seek to put them in disrepute. 2, to compel the performance of an act or duty which one refuses to perform. Para puwersahin ka. It may also be exercised even without a pending case kung korte ang gagawa. Now, this contempt power, however plenary, meaning all-encompassing, may be exercised judiciously and sparingly with utmost self-restraint with the end and view of utilizing the same for correction and preservation of the dignity of the court. Not for retaliation. Hindi ito ginagamit para gumanti. It should not be availed of unless necessary in the interest of justice. Of course, you have direct and indirect contempt. Now, quasi-judicial agencies that have the power to cite persons for indirect contempt pursuant to Rule 71 can only do so by initiating them with the proper regional trial court. So, kung may contempt power ka, hanggang direct contempt lang. Kasi pag may indirect contempt, you still have to file it with the court. And what about the local sanggunian? Ang sabi ng Korte Suprema, sa kabilang isla ito ng kabilang bahagi ng Bacolod sa Dumaguete, to begin with, there's no express provision either in the Constitution or the Local Government Code granting the local legislative bodies the power to subpoena witnesses and the power to punish non-members for contempt. Okay? The sanggunian has no power like that. Therefore, absence a constitutional or legal provision for the exercise of these powers, the only possible justification for the issuance of a subpoena and for the punishment of members for contumacious behavior would be for said power to be deemed implied in the statutory grant of delegated legislative power. But the contempt power and the subpoena power partake of a judicial nature. They cannot be implied in the grant of legislative power. And that's the reason why the sanggunian has no contempt power. To allow local legislative bodies or administrative agencies to exercise these powers without express authority, statutory basis, would run afoul the doctrine of separation of powers. Thus, the contempt power as well as the subpoena power, which the framers of the fundamental law did not expressly provide, but which then Congress has asserted, essentially for self-preservation, as one of the co-equal branches of the government, cannot be deemed implied in the delegation of certain legislative functions to local government units. Take note, ang Kongreso, merong power to cite people in contempt. Okay? That's part of that power to conduct inquiries in aid of re-election legislation. Okay? Pagka may contempt, pwede silang, pagka ayaw sumagot, ayaw sumunod, dinidisrespect sila, they can cite these people in contempt. At pwede nilang isubpina yung mga taong ito para mag-attend. Okay? Pero pag hindi umattend, pwedeng issue ng warrant of arrest, and the warrant of arrest is valid. Kasi nga, ginagalang ito ng korte as a co-equal branch of the government. But basically, it's only the court who has contempt power and the power to issue subpoena. Okay? O ngayon, pagka gumawa ang Kongreso ng batas, hindi niya pwedeng i-delegate, sabi ng korte, itong power na ito to issue subpoena and cite people in contempt. Kasi walang ganon sa Constitution, even in the local government code.